the decisions that you and your frequent collaborator, writer Amy Jump, took in terms of, it's such a dystopic kind of vision, and where you choose to set it, both in terms of place and time, is a big consideration, I would say, when approaching this screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, it was Amy's big thought, I think, to put it back into the period we've written. And I think for us it had been, there was a few elements of it, and one of them was that we were born in the 70s, and we're kind of those children in the tower, and Lang, Charlotte, and all those people are kind of the same age as our parents were around that period. So our relationship to it is slightly different from when you take the book and try and adapt it as a near future thing, if you keep pushing it forward away from the 70s. But also that he was predicting a future that's effectively in the past, and that was very interesting to us, that we kind of know the literal answers of what happened. So we were making a kind of a science fiction film from the future, looking back at the past that kind of happened.
With great result. Can I ask you about casting? It's an incredibly impressive team, and of course a very brilliant performance from Tom. Did you always have Tom in mind for the role, or?
Well, initially I wanted to play him. And I was beaten down by
Okay, bye.
It's a sore point between Tom and I, because the motion capture stuff has come a long way, but no, of course, no. Amy and I, we had a list of people we want, that we're thinking about casting, but Tom was always the one for Lang, which always sounds totally disingenuous and untrue, but it is absolutely fucking true. So, and we had in our kitchen, our whiteboard, and a little cut out of his face, and Lang written underneath it. But when, you do these things, you never think that that's going to come true. You never think you can end up standing next to someone admitting that you had a picture of them in your kitchen. That's not weird at all. I'm sure there's many kitchens with your face in some. Yeah, that's and then through the wonders of the film industry, we got to meet up and we chat about it, and it was all good.
Tom, can I ask about your own interest in the part? And it's a role that I imagine is really intoxicating for an actor, both kind of challenging in one way, but incredibly sort of visceral and pleasurable in another. Could you sort of expand on your experience?
Well, I just was a huge fan of Ben. I'd Kill List and Sightseers, and particularly at Field in England, and then I found Down Terrace after that. But I remember watching a Field in England. I was away from home. I was comfortable where I was, but I downloaded it and I watched it, and it made me miss home, because there was something so English about it. He doesn't realise that, but there's something in his artistic fingerprint that is very British, and all his films are British in their bones. And the combination of Ben Wheatley and J.G. Ballard was mouthwatering, because they are, there was such a mischief in the writing, and also rigor and seriousness, and the script was an incredible read, and all of the characters were so well drawn, and Lang particularly he seemed to be this interesting creation, because he exists in tension. He's trying to disappear into his, what Ballard calls his 1,000th share of the cliff face. He wants to live in the gondola of a Ferris wheel that's suspended in the sky, basically trying to escape real life. And he's a doctor, and Ballard wrote many doctors. He himself had studied medicine at Cambridge before he became a writer, specifically because he was fascinated by the engineering of human anatomy. He wanted to understand how the human body worked as a piece of machinery. And then once he got that information, he became a writer. And I found it fascinating that he'd chosen Lang to be a doctor, someone with this professional detachment, as Wilder notes, whose detachment is challenged to engage. There's a point at which, when the shit hits the fan, Lang actually has to confront himself and confront his choices and confront who he is, and I found that really fascinating. And so anyway, I wanted to work with Ben, I wanted to play Lang, and here I am. And there was dancing in it.
Can I ask you something that actually almost follows on from that, which is, you know, this kind of descent into chaos? I'm really interested to understand what it's like on set. You know, does the descent into chaos remain very precise when you're being directed by Ben, or is it something that becomes quite fluid in the process of the filmmaking?
Well, Ben creates an atmosphere of permission, which is really all you want as an actor. A position of no judgment and
a little bit of judgment. Some judgment.
Impeccable judgment, I might add. But that's what you want. You need sort of, with a film like this and with scenarios like this, it's about losing your inhibition or being brave enough to be as uninhibited as the characters become. And it sounds so strange, but it was so much fun. I mean, you hear actors say this all the time, oh, we made a film, we had a really good time, we made a film, it was so fun. This film was so fun to make because it was, I think there was something about the risk in it, and the daring in it, which is embedded in the writing as well. So it was about kind of extending towards the extremity of the behaviour.
But also I think that the chaos of something like, I mean, it's the biggest budget film I've ever made and felt like all the money in the world, but it's still, by normal Hollywood standards, quite a small budget. And to get what we got on screen, it has to be incredibly controlled. So sadly, it's not a documentary.
Can I ask you about the production and particularly the locations, because place is really so important in the work of J.G. Ballard, and what were the sort of challenges of finding the right place to make this film?
We wanted to shoot in a